Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to episode 116 of the We Can't Wrestle podcast. Nate Maxon here with you, along with my brother Aaron.
Hey.
Kyle Army.
So you say hi, Kyle.
And my buddy
Hi,
Archie
Kyle.
Mitchell.
It's really been 16 episodes since the 100th episode? Damn.
Yes. It seems like just yesterday we were.
It does.
Yeah. And since then, I've taken Aaron's title as trivia champion, and
Yeah.
we have a lot coming up here this week on the We Can't Wrestle podcast. Our main topic is December 3rd, 1991, and there's a cat.
There's always a cat.
That cat loves to start in whenever I start talking into a microphone. Anyway, December 3rd, 1991, it is this Tuesday in Texas. The WWF presenting a pay-per-view. We'll get into the story of that as we roll on. We're also going to talk about a few topics here, but hold on. Let me get this fucking cat out of here. Jesus Christ.
He just wants to get paid for being on the podcast too.
Ernest Miller.
It's the cat, baby. Somebody call his mama.
He's about to wind up in the basement.
The cats always do this to poor Nate. Let's not leave dead air.
When he comes back, we'll be like, "What cat are you talking about? How many Vicodins did you take?"
That's funny.
Hey, Nate.
Damn it. What?
Nate. What were you talking about?
When?
Just now, where did you go?
You said you heard a cat?
I said, no. What?
You said you heard a cat?
No, my cat. Yeah, the
What cat?
None of us heard a cat.
Yeah.
Really? You couldn't hear him? Wow.
No.
How many Vicodins
How many
did you take?
No, he was really in here, and he was really getting on my nerves.
We're ribbing you, man.
Which is the joke.
No, yeah, fuck that cat. All right.
Are we gonna start again now?
Yeah, I think we should just start over.
Yeah, there was like a minute and a half of dead air.
Yeah. All right. We'll just start over all over again like we're meeting for the first time. Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to episode 116 of the We Can't Wrestle podcast. Nate Maxon here with you, along with my brother Aaron.
Hello.
Mr. Kyle, One Man Army.
Hi, Kyle.
Hi, Kyle. And my buddy Archie Mitchell.
What's up, everybody?
How is everyone doing out there tonight?
Wonderful.
Fantastic.
Good. A little cold, but I'm okay.
This week's edition of the show, we're going to be talking about the WWF pay-per-view from 1991, this Tuesday in Texas. A little experiment the WWF did back then.
Let's not forget about our sponsor, though. We have a sponsor.
Oh, really?
Yes, Toots Suits. You go on down to Toots Suits. It's all very thick cloth, like clothing, but you got to wear it anyway. It's all 8 pieces. Look very fancy no matter where you go. Nice hats. The staff's kind of racist, but if you can get past that, Toots Suits is the way to go, buddy.
Their motto is, "You're not gonna like the way you look, but you can't afford not to like it."
Good job, Kyle.
Yeah.
Good
Dynamite drop in, Donnie.
Good start to the show right there. But yeah, we are going to be discussing this Tuesday in Texas from 1991. Also, a couple other topics we'll be touching on as well. But I wanted to say here on the show, and I will obviously post the official announcement after I have the show up and running. But on this edition of the show, I figured we would go ahead and tell everyone who are the first ever We Can't Wrestle Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Which we will be having I'll be recording shows in January where us and the rest of the panel will get together and discuss who we nominated, who we voted for, why we think this person should be in or should not be in. But here I will have the official announcement of the first 8 inductees into the We Can't Wrestle Hall of Fame. You know what? Dave Meltzer's never wrestled either, and he has his own Hall of Fame, so I can do it too.
I want to bring up something real quick. We usually do our plugs at, like after the first break, but this is just fucking exciting news. I can't wait to share this. As great as 2020 was for the meet and greets, 2021 is starting off with a bang, guys.
Mm-hmm.
And to tell you more about that, I'm going to send it over to Archie Mitchell because this is huge.
Why, thank you, Kyle. Just announced tonight by the Asylum's Nick Francis and David Gold on February 20th, 2021. The Natural, the Golden Man himself, Dustin Rhodes, the son of a plumber, will be joining us in the virtual Asylum for a meet and greet. And we have got shirts, figures, pops. We've got 8x10s. We may even have some belts and some ring worn gear. So make sure that you pop over to the Asylum store, and the virtual Asylum to check out everything you can buy to get signed by Dustin Rhodes.
That is very exciting news for the virtual Asylum meet and greets. And don't forget, the one I'm actually more excited about is Demolition is coming up this week.
Saturday.
Yes. Got to meet those guys before the pandemic, and very cool. If you have not had a chance to interact with them, do so. Very down to earth, really cool guys. They actually wanted to bust me and Aaron's balls about our We Can't Wrestle t-shirts before we explained to them what the shirt actually meant. But yeah, it was a fun experience. So I definitely recommend it. Now, for the Hall of Fame. Oh, go ahead, Archie.
Unfortunately, I have to miss
Demolition. Your heat, Nate.
I have to miss Demolition.
That sucks.
It is my son's 21st birthday that day.
Well, happy birthday to your son, though.
Thank you.
The ballot for the Hall of Fame was as follows. Here was the final 20 ballot. I had everyone that was involved, and we'll talk about that and who's involved in this and everything at a later date. But the ballot was narrowed down to 20 men after 12 people nominated folks. And those that had the most support got onto the 20-man ballot. And here they are. It is The Undertaker, Ric Flair, Randy Savage, Andre the Giant, Terry Funk, Shawn Michaels, Bruno Sammartino, Sting, Gene Okerlund, Roddy Piper, Dusty Rhodes, Ricky Dozon, Paul Heyman, Bret Hart, Jerry Lawler, Andre the Giant, Randy Savage, and Bobby Heenan and Hulk Hogan. So there were your initial 20 that were on the ballot. And now, here are the 8 superstars who are the first inductees into the We Can't Wrestle Hall of Fame. We have as follows: Hulk Hogan.
Boo.
The Undertaker.
Yay.
Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Woo.
The Nature Boy Ric Flair.
Woo.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Damn right.
Randy Macho Man Savage.
Ooh, yeah.
Vince McMahon. And Andre the Giant. That is your first 8 inductees into the We Can't Wrestle Hall of Fame.
I'm pleased with that list.
The criteria that I had, I will share that with everybody as well as we do the shows for the Hall of Fame. But there it is, the first class of the We Can't Wrestle Hall of Fame. None of those guys care, but we do. So there you go.
I'm very pleased with that list. I'm not going to lie. That's a relative who's who of who should be in a Hall of Fame.
And yes, absolutely. And I think as the years go on, as we plan to do this every year, it's going to be. I think that the first year here was easier because you
right.
Considering the criteria, I mean, how do you not nominate Hulk Hogan or how do you not nominate The Undertaker? As years go on, I think folks will have to do more research, and we'll have much harder debates about why or why not certain people should be in the Hall of Fame.
Next year, I'm putting in Kenny Omega. I don't care what you say.
Just be thankful that Virgil wasn't on the list, because he would have been riding this thing for the next fucking 10 years.
And we would have to pay him.
Yeah, I was going to say, I can't even nominate him or I owe him $20.
Right.
So
We
You gotta
can't
give
afford
them
20
Olive
bucks.
Garden gift cards.
That's true, yeah.
So the next thing that I know Kyle wanted to talk about on the show this week, AEW has acquired the services of one Sting.
Yes. I know that Aaron is not a big fan of this, and I'm not sure how you guys feel about it. I want to hear what do you guys think?
I don't care. And I don't mean that to sound like I'm shitting on it or not shitting on it. The way that I look at it is, Sting was never, even when he was there, Sting has never been a WWE guy.
Right.
So really, to me, the logical conclusion is for him to be on the other show anyway.
Right.
And I don't begrudge anybody for taking a fuck ton of money from a money mark and, riding that shit till it dies, because AEW is not going to be around another 5 years. Mark my words. But yeah, let him be there. Let him, and he's not. I don't necessarily care to see him wrestle, but he's a decent enough personality to give, say, a Darby Allin or a Cody Rhodes or somebody a rub. And so no, I mean, I when I said I didn't care, I guess that came out wrong. It's not that I don't care. I'm indifferent to the fact that he's in AEW. I don't find it to be earth shattering, but I think it could be helpful for the company.
In my opinion, I'll say it this exact way I told my son, because he came in the room when it happened. He's like, "What is Sting doing in AEW?" I'm like, "Well, like Nate said, it's all because of the money," and he felt that WWE kind of soiled his legacy a bit, which it did. It did. They did not go with any of the matches that should have been gone with, and he lost all 3 matches he was a part of. But I think Tony Khan and, of course, the executive vice presidents, Cody Rhodes and the Bucks, and Kenny Omega thought this was going to be like a Hulk Hogan-esque coup in 1993 that WCW got. The thing that upsets me is that these guys were constantly saying before they went on the air, we're the alternative to WWE. We're not going to be like TNA was. We're not going to be like the other companies and take just anybody. And then they signed Sting. And I like Sting. I am a Sting fan. I always have been. But to bring in a 61-year-old man who now has gray hair and can barely walk, thanks Seth Rollins, it just doesn't do anything for me, because who is in AEW that he's going to wrestle? Chris Jericho? Dustin Rhodes? Which, no knock to them, but it's not like it would have gotten if he would have fought The Undertaker, or like when he did fight Triple H and then they botched it. It's not like it was when he fought Hogan for the first time in WCW. It just seems like it's just a last-ditch effort by a company that's looking to sign big names, but then can't really do anything with them. They're barely pulling 1 million fans a week. So,
okay,
Aaron, I know you made a post in the group about it, but you want to elaborate on that here?
Well, what I'm going to elaborate on it is that, okay, I want to say this. I have no fault with Steve Borden going in and collecting a big payoff.
Right.
Okay? No fault with that at all. What I have a fault with is the management of a company. And if I'm the management of that company, I'm going to ask, what does this fucking guy bring to the table?
Right.
A couple t-shirts. Okay. Yeah, he's going to sell some t-shirts. That's fine. They're going to make a Sting they're going to make a Sting documentary. Okay.
Which has already been done twice.
It's going to be an hour and 35 minutes or 2 hours and 20 minutes of stories we've already heard 150 times.
Oh, and they could use the TNA mattress.
And then that I'm getting there. So that's what you're gonna get. They don't have access to 95% of this guy's career. So what are they gonna put on there as bonus or footage or anything like that?
His great match with Bobby Roode.
Yeah. And that is, honest to God, the only goddamn reason Kenny Omega has anything to do with Impact right now. And I'm not even knocking Impact because I like Impact.
Right.
That's the only reason Kenny Omega is there, because they were like, the only footage we can get of Sting is the TNA footage, so we have to do something with Anthem. And Anthem was like, fuck, bring Kenny Omega over. And I know we knock AEW and everything because they only have, what'd you say, Arch, like 1 million viewers or whatever?
It's 900,000. Some weeks it's
Okay.
750.
Well, Impact probably has like 50,000 people watching it. So
because of Kenny Omega, they hit.
If we can get Kenny Omega on it, now we can bump it up a little bit. So it's a waste of fucking money. What are you getting signing this guy?
Right.
What are you getting? Nothing. You're getting absolutely nothing. Somebody was like, well, maybe he'll be like an agent. It's like, why would you pay an agent multi-billion dollars to come on? And then somebody's like, well, he could be an advocate. He can't be an advocate. Sting, I know Nate's not a big fan of Sting. That's fine. But I am. I was a little Stinger. Sting was fucking awesome. Right. But guess what the weakest part of fucking Sting's game has been his entire fucking career?
Promos.
Fucking promos. So he's not gonna advocate. He can't advocate for somebody. The most compelling Sting ever was when he wasn't saying a goddamn word.
Like Darby Allin.
So we're just gonna have Darby Allin and fucking Sting just standing there looking at each other.
Yep.
Fuck that.
All right, now.
Stupid. It's a stupid goddamn business decision.
All right.
They could have spent their money. No, I'm not done, Kyle. They could have spent their money on so much better shit, in my goddamn opinion. And my opinion don't matter. It's like everybody's assholes. They all like everybody's got assholes and everybody's got opinions and they all stink. But this is the first time the AEWs did something where I was like, that's fucking stupid. If they want to do what they want to do with their money, that's if they want to have a legless guy and a transgender person and fucking Jelly Janela and all these people, that's fine. That's their goddamn money. They can do whatever they want to do with it. And I haven't, and you guys can say this when you guys talk about modern product. I usually sit out and I don't usually say anything, right?
Right.
Because I don't normally have an opinion of it. But this thing I have a strong opinion on, that this is a
pointless. It's going nowhere.
Goddamn money. Waste of money.
Okay. Now, I've listened to you guys. I'm going to play the devil's advocate just right up front. Okay. I'm going to bring up a couple points here and maybe it'll help. I don't want to say sway your opinions because I know Aaron's pretty steadfast in his mind, but my hope is that maybe I can bring some points up that you guys are like, oh, well, maybe. Okay, so one, you guys talk about it's a silly waste of money. Okay, here's the problem. Name me another star that's the caliber of Sting that can come and make a surprise impact on any other show besides him. Hogan's been beat to death. If Hogan came to AEW, you'd be like, oh, okay, well, we've seen him in TNA. We've seen him. He's also damaged goods because, nobody wants to touch that because of what he said. Ric Flair ain't going anywhere because Ric Flair is going to stay in WWE because they're fucking treating his daughter like a princess. Okay? Booker T ain't leaving. So name me another guy who is the level of Mick Foley. I'm sorry.
How about this? How about they don't worry about wasting their money on dusty product and just and spend their money on and make some homegrown stars?
Right. But here's the problem, though. Here is the biggest thing. They've already made homegrown stars. They are at a plateau. They're only getting as many audience members as they normally get. At this point, they're trying to do something to bring in new viewers or bring in those viewers who, because think about it. If you're watching TNT and you used to be a wrestling fan back with WCW, and all of a sudden you see a promo for AEW and here is Sting, you're going to be like, holy shit, I'm going to check this out. My brother, who is not a wrestling fan, messaged me and he's like, dude, I saw on fucking Reddit that Sting is in AEW. Damn, he looks old, but that's kind of cool.
Hey, I'm not gonna watch it though because I saw his dumpy body get beat up in WWF.
I understand that.
But
well, no, all right. I get Paul, Kyle. I get your point.
Yeah,
but here's the thing:
catering to us.
A casual fan,
the mystique of Sting coming back
is worn off. It's gone.
That's the thing, though. But that's the thing, though. They're not trying to get to us. They're trying to get to those lapsed fans who are watching TNT, who used to be wrestling fans.
Right? No.
I'm a lapsed fan. Okay,
But
I haven't watched.
You saw Sting in WWE.
Exactly. When he came back in the WWE, I was like, "Holy shit, I'm gonna watch that." And then I watched it, and it was fucking trash.
Okay.
And I was like, "Well, no, I'm done watching that again now because that was fucking trash."
Okay, but here's the thing, though. They're trying to go after those people who were 15 when WCW went out of business, who stopped watching wrestling, who now are 30, 32. They're going like, well, fuck, Sting's back. And they're hoping, whether it's right or wrong, or wrong.
All right, now, Kyle, see, this is my argument towards that, though. And I understand what you're saying, and it's not a bad point. But now, you missed his return. Sting returns. He looks at Dustin. He looks at Cody. He looks at Darby. He looked at Arn Anderson. Now you tune in the following week to see what Sting is going to say. He didn't say much. Okay, I'll wait till next week. All he really said was, Cody, I'm not here for you, kiddo. And he had Tony Schiavone said, it's Sting. Okay, great. Nostalgia. Wonderful. You tune in the following week, and it's not what you were hoping for. By week 3, you're tuning out. So all they did was get all those lapsed fans for a 2 or 3 week bump, and then they returned back to 750,000 fans. That seems like a lot of money wasted for 2 or 3 weeks to get a bump in ratings, and then it goes right back.
And I agree with you. AEW's biggest problem isn't the fact that they spent the money to get Sting in, it's how their follow-up. It's the same thing with this Kenny Omega stuff.
Right.
Okay. So you have Kenny Omega leave as the world champion. You have him for the first time in a long time, regardless of how you feel about the man himself and the wrestler. The fact is that he did something as far as a heel that was pretty shitty to Jon Moxley that you're like, what the fuck? Then he leaves with Don Callis and says, hey, I'm going to fucking TNA. We'll see you there. You go to TNA. You don't say anything about it. Then it says, hey, I got a big announcement come Wednesday on Dynamite, and you say the same thing you said on AEW or on TNA.
Mm-hmm.
The problem isn't the money that they're spending on the talent. The money is whoever they have booking this shit is only thinking 2 or 3 weeks ahead.
Well, no, whoever they have young guys booking it right now who don't know their ass from their elbow. And pardon me, I don't mean a knock towards Cody Rhodes. Cody is trying to do it his daddy's way, and he doesn't realize he's not Dusty Rhodes.
I'm just saying.
That's the truth,
I don't know how much money they're paying Sting, but I can just say, dumpy Steve Borden with a movie with a forehead you could show a movie on isn't worth whatever they're paying.
And gray hair, and the way what I love, gray hair, more gray hair than I have right now, as you gentlemen can see, and the way that they emphasize to keep their mind off of that is, let's make it snow so his hair turns white. What? He looked more gray.
I don't know why he couldn't dye his hair, but that's neither here nor there. But like I said, my point is that I can see why they spent the money to get him, because it does. Like I said, if you're tuning through TNT and it's like this Wednesday on Dynamite, Sting is back, you're gonna have a casual fan going, "Oh fuck!" But as you said, if the follow up isn't good, Right. But name me anybody else that really.
Well, here's the crack up. I read how the ratings came out for them. The Sting spot did 650,000 viewers. Okay, not bad. The Shaquille O'Neal spot did 1,200,000.
You're right.
So maybe they need to get guys that are on TNT, like Shaquille O'Neal. They got Snoop coming in on January 6th. You know what I mean? Bring celebrities in maybe. And do, you know what I mean? Have a concert in the middle or something like
Well,
Raw
and
used to do.
And here's the
You
other
know?
thing. You know, they're
My-
a small, they're a company that's starting off. Whether or not they're here in 3 years, 5 years, the fact is, you know,
They'll
like I said,
be
the
here.
fact-
As long as Tony Khan wants to spend money, they'll be here.
right.
We all said TNA was going to die in 3 years, and it's 15 years later. You
But
know?
but like I said, whether it's right or wrong,
Right.
whether the money and everything else, the fact that they're trying to mix things up with TNA
They are.
is a smart move.
I like that. I kind of hope they continue with NWA too and with New Japan, and all four go under one umbrella.
Because think about it, how many of those fans too there's going to sit there and go like, "Oh fuck, this is kind of like the NWO thing was," without rehashing the NWO.
Right. Well, here's the thing. I don't get Access TV. If I want to watch TNA or Impact, as it's called now, I have to use a streaming service or Impact Plus. Okay, no big deal. I don't get New Japan either. I have to watch that online. So if
Right.
you bring in stars that I've seen on these other companies, and now they're all wrestling in one company, guess what? I'm tuning in because that's what made WCW good.
Now
You
here's
gave me the cruiserweights, you gave me the big names, and you gave me the younger stars.
Now, here's the thing that's great about TNA is that the show that Kenny Omega showed up on, they posted that free on the YouTube
Yeah, on Twitch.
and stuff because they're like, hey, you know, we're on Access. Hey, you know, if you like this, it's
Right.
a smart move. It's a very smart move.
They jumped up to 750,000 viewers in one night.
Exactly. Like I said,
You know?
everything that they're doing, I can see why they're doing it. Whether or not it works out is another story. But to say that, you know, like, oh, well, it's just pointless to bring Sting in. It's like, if they're bringing people back to watch their product, that's a great thing.
No, I
from a
agree.
business standpoint. Now, again, like I said, we're not talking about how they follow up on it. We're talking about the fact that, because think about it, again, we have seen Ric Flair, we've seen Sting, or we've seen Hogan and stuff jump back and forth time and time again. Sting is the guy, and rightfully so. We hadn't seen him since he retired with Seth Rollins.
Right.
So even for the regular fan who does watch, they're like, I'm gonna fucking tune in and see what the hell he's got to say.
Well, I mean, there's a joke meme. Wrestling fans, WWE is stupid for bringing back in guys like Goldberg because they're past their prime. Wrestling fans, AEW brought back Sting, hooray! And it's like, you know, fans like us are always going to be fickle and upset about things that get done that way.
Speaking of Goldberg, it's a smart idea to bring Goldberg back in for WWE because you're trying to capture those lapsed fans that are like,
no, thank you. I don't need to see Goldberg ever again.
I know, but like I said, again, it isn't for us. It isn't for us normal wrestling fans who watch every week and are addicted to this. It's for those lapsed fans or those people that they're trying to get that are the casual viewer flipping through their TV. That's what they're trying to get. Because that's the only way you're going to make new fans. Because obviously, WWE and AEW and TNA, we're at a point now that provided that there's the next Stone Cold Steve Austin, we are at a fucking plateau of what they're going to get.
That's true.
So they're trying to do things to bring in new fans or bring back old fans.
And then
that's the problem.
The other thing is, okay, AEW is bringing in all these old fucks. All right, old fuck after old fuck. Let's put this old fuck with this young fuck. Let's put this old fuck with these young bucks. Whatever they do. When they bring in the old guys, they do nothing with, like, Arn Anderson. What has Arn Anderson added to that show? Nothing. What is Tully Blanchard added to
at
FTR?
At least Tully Blanchard is added to FTR. I can honestly say Arn has done nothing with Cody.
And I'm a huge Tully Blanchard fan. Nate knows this, and I'm a huge Arn Anderson fan. But my thing is, don't focus all your shit on don't. I have no problem with Arn Anderson being there. I have no problem with Tully Blanchard being there. I have no problem with Jake Roberts being there. I have no problem with Sting being there. What I have a problem with is putting these guys out there to do absolutely nothing. Nothing.
Right.
hire these guys and just keep them in the fucking back. Vince
Make
did.
them agents. Let them write.
That's
Let
what
them
I'm
do what they're
saying.
supposed to do. Let them book.
Vince did that when he hired Nick Bockwinkel. He
Right.
didn't hire Nick Bockwinkel and say, "Hey, Nick Bockwinkel, go out there with Hercules and just give him the rub." He had Nick
Right.
Bockwinkel stay in the fucking back because he said, "You're old. Nobody wants to see you anymore, or you'd still be in the AWA and they'd still be making gangbusters. Stay in the back and teach Hercules what to do. Don't go out there
Right.
with him." That's what they should do with these old guys. It's a fucking waste of time. It's a waste of television, and it's something else they could be doing with somebody else that can fucking work.
I don't
And the
get why.
Goldberg thing, I will say this. Am I a big Goldberg fan? No. But bringing Goldberg back, I don't fucking know how old he is. He's probably, what, 55? Nate, is he like 50
Yeah,
something?
he's 54, 55, yeah.
I'll check. Hold on.
Goldberg is in goddamn shape. Okay? And you can say, oh, well, he's blown up or whatever in the course of 5 minutes. Goldberg isn't a 25, 30-minute wrestler. He's a 6-minute man. He gets in there, hit it, and quit it. Goldberg is in shape. Sting was dumpy and bald.
In the words of Eddie Murphy in Coming to America, Bill Goldberg's 53 years old.
That's just my opinion.
I'm going to make one final point, and then we will take a quick break, actually. I guess this is my counterpoint to your point, Kyle. Mm-hmm. I understand what you're saying about lapsed fans. I actually saw the Tony Khan interview where he said that his main reason for bringing Sting in was to try to get some of those old lapsed WCW fans. So here's my biggest issue with not just Sting, but Goldberg, Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, blah, blah. You're bringing these guys into your promotions because WWE is just as guilty of it as AEW is. WWE ramps it up every year at WrestleMania time where they bring in old fuckers. You're essentially saying, well, we know our product ain't great nowadays, but look how great it used to be.
Right.
And that's my biggest issue with it is that's all it is it just reminding me that wrestling ain't good no more, but every once in a while we'll bring you back one of those guys from when it was good. And they're instead of building a new industry or building new stars, which I'll actually give AEW credit, they're better at that than WWE is, just because with WWE everybody other than a Roman Reigns is like a puzzle piece and they're all interchangeable. Whereas, although AEW books very sporadically and it's like alphabet soup booking, they at least try to push newer stars and make people have a unique identity. Whether or not it's ass-tastic or not is besides the point. At least they're trying. But yeah, that was kind of my point on that. Was it just, to me, it's just all it does is make a glaring example of that. It used to be really good and now it's mediocre and boring, but look, it's the guy that was around when it used to be really good.
Well, yeah. But I will say this to just real quick. I know, but I will give AEW credit because on the same show that you had Sting show up on, you had a world title match. Mm-hmm. You had a huge world title match, probably something that should have been on a fucking pay-per-view.
Right.
So, and you can say like, well, they didn't know at the time. People are going to go back and watch that. They're going to go back and watch it on YouTube. They're going to go back and watch,
mm-hmm.
It's changed dramatically from when we were watching, where it was, you had to watch fucking Monday night because if you didn't, you fucking missed it.
Right.
Now you can watch literally anything on YouTube. That's
exactly.
where they make the bread and butter. I think the execution is horrible with what they've done so far with Sting and what they've done with a lot of these older talent. If it was me, I would have had Sting show up and just be like, hey, like I'm endorsing TNA or I'm endorsing AEW. Because, you could have saved more money, probably by having him to show up one time and be like, hey,
I would have had him come out.
Sorry, Arch.
Go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I'm gonna say that I've listened to this. I've been open minded with a lot of it and everything like that. But I'll say this: AEW, okay, is wanting to remind people about WCW.
Because they're on the same channel.
They're on TNT, and they're giving away pay-per-view matches on free television. And now they're wasting money on old people. Who else was on TNT, gave away main event matches on television?
This is true.
WCW.
But I will say this, though.
And where are they at now?
And that's
The
fine.
WWE Network.
And that's fine. But I will say this, though. We don't know how much money that...
Definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and
expecting a
over
different
again,
outcome.
expecting a different result.
And I understand that. But we don't know how much Tony Khan has actually spent to get Sting in. It could be TNT that's paying for it. Because remember, way back when WCW was in business, everyone's like, I can't believe they're spending all this money to bring Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage.
Yeah, but there ain't no way a company's going to make that mistake again, Kyle, because when the company went out of business, those stars stayed on and still got paid by TNT.
And this is true. But here's the thing. Like, when Randy Savage came in, Randy Savage brought with him the Slim Jim deal that pretty much fucking paid for his fucking payroll. So we don't know what all is, for all we know, maybe there's fucking movies for Sting.
I want to interject real quick that I would have had Sting debut. I would have had him come out, grab the mic, and said that Darby Allin is his illegitimate child with Miss Elizabeth, and all these years he had lust in his eyes.
You could have got
Maury. It wasn't Hulk Hogan.
You could have got Maury Povich involved in that. There's another celebrity crossover.
Right. Sting, you are the father. Darby would have been like, no!
And he probably would have been more relevant than Shaq.
But Shaq got them 1 million viewers.
Yeah, he's still Shaq. I mean, fucking people love them some Shaq, man. There's a reason why he's selling fucking Gold Bond medicated powder.
Right.
Which is what half of the AEW management
roster is using.
All right, gents. Well, we're going to take our break, and when we return,
they should call them the Werther's Originals. Sting, Jake, Tully, Arn.
I love that Sting got in the ring this week, and Arn Anderson was like, "Okay, I don't need to be here." He just walked out of the ring like, "Fuck this shit. I don't want to even be in the same ring with this guy."
Yep. But
Ice Train gonna be mixed up with
Ice Train.
As Nate was saying, I think when we come back from our break, we're going to be talking about a very topical.
The other thing is AEW. They have like, let's remind you about how cool WCW was, how not cool our company is. Oh, and now we have the FTW belt, which was an ECW thing. They don't have their goddamn identity. I'm sorry, I'm done now. I'm done. Nate's looking annoyed, so I'm done.
Aaron, hold on, and watch Impact Plus, which has all WWE stars on it because they all went to go work for the WWE.
This is true. When we come back, we're going to bring up the topic of unions and unionization in pro wrestling. What's really cool is I actually work for a union. Nate and Aaron are both, managers of stores and stuff. So you're going to have both sides of the fence here kind of going into this topic. So it's going to be really interesting.
Yes, unions in wrestling and Tuesday in Texas. All that and much more coming up when we return on the We Can't Wrestle podcast.
Last Tuesday in Texas.
You know what usually happens at Tuesday in Texas? They get drunk and shoot their guns off.